Good Friday morning. We finally made it to Friday. The weekend's just about to hit and looks like it's going to be just a pretty good weekend overall. Going to be hot, going to be humid, but at least it's going to be dry as we head towards, looks like Saturday and Sunday. Also this afternoon looks like it's going to be pretty dry. I'm meteorologist Jeff Gerber for 12 News, and we're going to give you about 10 to 15 minutes here of a look at your weather, kind of a slowed down look at your weather as opposed to the quick 2.5 to 3.5 minute we usually get for weather during a newscast. So give you a good look at everything what's going on across southeast Texas and what we can expect as we go through the next 7 days. If you have any questions about what you're looking at or what you're maybe event you're going to try to have this weekend or next week, because next week looks pretty wet. If you have something like that you want to talk about, or you want to know maybe what the weather's going to look like for a specific time or something like that, go ahead and text us at 409-749-9302. Once again, that's 409-749-9302. It's our weather impact phone line, and like I said, you can text us and we'll, during the stream, give you an answer to what you're asking. Or just write this number down, and if you have a question, you can always text it to our phone line, and we'll get to it as soon as we can. We check it periodically, and we can text you back and let you know what we're thinking as far as maybe a certain day or certain time over the next 7 days where you're looking at maybe what the specific weather situation is going to be like. All right, look at the forecast for the rest of today, and looking just hot. We're seeing temperatures into the lower 90s as we head into this afternoon. 92, maybe 93 up towards the lakes. We'll fall back into the upper 80s as we head towards 6 o'clock, and by 10 o'clock, we're looking at lower 80s. Just a hot afternoon with a little bit of sunshine mixed with no rain, it looks like, as we go through this afternoon. And it looks like through the weekend as well, and we'll show you that in our 7-day forecast in just a little bit. All right, our allergy report for today, 0 on tree once again. Low on weed. Grass is also low today. These were medium yesterday, so these numbers have come down. Good news. And mold is still heavy, or to medium, I should say medium, but that number has come down as well, so some good news there. All right, let's take a look at some sky cams from across the area, and generally looking at just partly cloudy skies out there for this morning on our Roofing 911 Live Skycam network. This one from our 12 News studio right here, brought to you by Mid-County Plumbing. And as we look east towards downtown Beaumont, you can see it there kind of in the center of the left part of your screen, the skyline of Beaumont, as we look at just some partly cloudy skies for this morning. Become a little bit more partly to mostly cloudy as we go towards this afternoon. Let's shoot up to the lakes area. This is Jasper, looking at the Jasper County Courthouse. This camera brought to you by Provalis. Once again, we just have some partly cloudy skies up in Jasper. Already feeling warm, already feeling humid, temperatures climbing up into the 80s right now, so it's already feeling very muggy. We'll continue to see those numbers climb up into those lower 90s as we get into the afternoon. Rain chances, like I said, doesn't look like we'll see anything today. If we did, it would be an isolated shower at best, and those would be very few and way far between, so just a couple of showers possible here and there. Okay, let's take a look at maybe one more camera here. We'll wait for it to change over. It's actually set on automatic to change automatically, so that's why I have to kind of wait for them to change over. And let's go over to Orange at the Horseman's Western Store, which is right there on the feeder road next to Interstate 10. Our Roofing 911 Live Skycam network currently showing 86 degrees over in Orange. Humidity at 74 sticky percent, and winds out of the southwest at 4 to 5. Yeah, that 74% humidity with a temperature of 86. It's already feeling a little rough out there if you're trying to get outside. Maybe you got some work you want to do in the yard or something like that. Stay hydrated. Make sure you take some breaks with the hot temperatures that we're going to see for today. Here are current temperatures as of 10 o'clock. 85 right now here in Beaumont, Orange at 88, and then Port Arthur's at 87. 84 right now in Silsbee. Good morning there. Up in Jasper, 84. Woodville, 83 right now, and then Kirbyville currently showing a temperature of about 82. Nothing on radar, really not expecting anything on radar across the area for today, but the only thing we're seeing is over towards southwest Louisiana. Looks like a couple of very isolated showers between Oakdale and Kinder right up 165 there. Nothing around the Lake Charles area. So if you have travel plans today, Lake Charles or Houston, don't have to worry about any rain or thunderstorms really getting and getting in your way of any plans if we'd see anything, just a couple of showers here and there. Now, driving up into Arkansas, this is a little bit different story. A cluster of showers and thunderstorms have been roaming through Oklahoma this morning. Now they're making their way over into parts of Arkansas, and eventually it looks like they're going to work into maybe northern Louisiana over towards northern Mississippi for this morning. So this is going to stay well north of us. We don't have to worry about this, but definitely some heavy rain that moved through Fort Smith this morning. Looks like it's heading right into Little Rock, Hot Springs, and then eventually over towards, it looks like Jonesboro, over towards Memphis. So some pretty heavy weather there. Across the state of Texas, very quiet. We don't see too much going on, a few clouds here and there. Yesterday they had some strong thunderstorms out in West Texas. Matter of fact, they had some tornadoes touching down, and don't see that for today. It doesn't look like. Looks like much quieter weather there out towards, say, Amarillo, down towards Lubbock. Not much going on there, and not much going on here in southeast Texas. Across the country, we have that one cluster of rain and thunderstorms stretching from Missouri back into Arkansas, Oklahoma for this morning. That's kind of the main weather going on across the country. There are a few showers, looks like, towards northern Colorado into Nebraska and into Wyoming. Nothing big there. West Coast looks dry, been dry for a while. And then as we look out towards the East Coast, there's that little disturbance off the East Coast that the Hurricane Center was watching for a while earlier this week. Had a small chance of maybe some development, but looks like no chance now. And then there's a little bit of wet weather up towards, looks like, New York State and over towards Pennsylvania. A few showers here and there. Maybe even a few showers up towards the Twin Cities there up into Minnesota. But overall, not, except for this cluster of rain and thunderstorms just to our north, looks like a pretty quiet weather across most of the lower 48. Our futurecast showing temperatures climbing up into the lower 90s as we head towards the early afternoon, and then around 92, 93 as we get into about 3:30, 4 o'clock. Partly cloudy skies, south winds coming in off the Gulf of Mexico. We'll drop back into the upper 80s by 7 o'clock. As we head towards 10 o'clock, I think we'll still be looking at a lot of lower 80s across the area. And then eventually we'll see those 70s return as we head towards tomorrow morning. We'll go partly cloudy in the morning with temperatures, I think, a little bit cooler than this. We're looking at some middle to upper 70s to start off on Saturday. Saturday morning, we'll see temperatures rising back up to the 80s, lower 90s by lunchtime, and then lower 90s as we head towards the afternoon. 92, maybe 93 or 94 as we get into tomorrow afternoon. We got plenty of humidity. Once again, take care of this weekend if you're going to be outside. Maybe your kid's got a ball tournament or something like that. Typically, parents know how to take care of that, but just make sure you're watching those little ones and make sure that they're staying hydrated and taking plenty of breaks, cold cloths and things like that. Make sure they're good to go. I had a daughter that played travel softball, and I remember plenty of summers where you really had to watch them out in the heat, especially if they had an afternoon game, bracket game or something like that. So whatever they're playing softball or soccer or baseball or whatever, just watch them out there for this weekend. Also, if they're just at the house swimming in the pool, make sure that they're drinking plenty of water. Even though they're surrounded by water, they need to get some water inside of them, stay hydrated there as well, even though they're out in the pool. So make sure you do that if you're out there for this weekend. Let's take a look real quick at what's going on out in the tropics. We are officially into hurricane season, and there's really not much going on. Caribbean looks real quiet, maybe a couple of thunderstorms down towards Central America, and the Atlantic does not look too active as well. Some showers and thunderstorms down towards the equator there, but not much going on. There's that little disturbance off the East Coast that looks like it's trending out into the Atlantic and not affecting the East Coast. And like I said, there should be no development there. All right, let's move on and take a look at our coastal marine forecast for today. South winds at about 10 to 15 knots. Seas around 2 feet. Next high tide is 12:02, so it's coming up here around the lunch hour. That'll be the last one for today. Our sunset's about 8:15. Looks like water temperature in the Gulf around 83, and we're seeing winds anywhere between about 14 to 16 miles an hour, 10 to 20 miles an hour out there. Right off Texas Point. Looks like a light chop on the inland lakes and bays for today. Forecast for today, partly cloudy. We're looking at a light south wind, 5 to 10 miles an hour, so not much of a breeze out there. That wind will pick up a little bit, it looks like, on Saturday, so that should help a little, but not a whole lot. We'll go maybe from 5 to 10 to about 5 to 15 for tomorrow. 92, 93, and not out of the question for later on this afternoon. As we head towards tonight, we're expecting to see temperatures into the middle to upper 70s as we go through tomorrow morning, so not too bad if you're trying to get out and do some exercising, walking or something like that. You might want to get out before 9 o'clock, and that's going to be kind of the general rule, not only for tomorrow but through the summertime. If you can get out before 9 o'clock and do some exercising, it'll feel a lot better than if you wait till the afternoon, or maybe wait till after 7:30 at night and try to get out when it's a little bit cooler. All right, our 7-day forecast calling for temperatures to be into the lower 90s through the weekend. 92 Friday, 93 on Saturday, 93 on Sunday. Not much going on here over the weekend. If we see anything as far as rain, it would be just a very isolated shower. It won't be a big deal for this weekend. That changes as we head towards next week. We've been talking about rain and thunderstorms coming in next week, and you can see pretty much every day, at least Monday through Thursday, we are going to be seeing some wet weather. Looking at about a 40% chance of rain on Monday, 70% chance of rain on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then as we get into Thursday, about a 50% chance of rain. Not looking for any widespread severe weather next week. We're not looking for any widespread flooding or anything like that. It's just going to be some wet days across the area. Not to say that we don't see maybe a thunderstorm or some heavy rain moving through that could cause some ponding on the roadways or some real quick isolated, maybe a little bit of flooding there, here and there, but nothing widespread, nothing that is going to cause major problems across the area. Let's take a look real quick once again at the phone number that you can call. I always say call, but you can text if you have a question about the weather for today or next week. Maybe you got some plans going on next week. The number is 409-749-9302. I don't have any messages right now. Like I said, if you want to, you can write that down, and on our next stream Monday morning, you can text us. Like I said, we stream every day at 10 o'clock, and we go for about 15 minutes, giving you a kind of look at the weather and what's going on across southeast Texas. So we'll continue to monitor the situation for next week, and of course Monday morning we'll be updating the forecast and giving you a better idea of what the rain coverage is going to be like for next week. But right now, like I said, just plan on keeping your rain gear pretty much every day. It's going to be a wet one. It looks like, especially towards the middle of the week, Tuesday into Wednesday, where we're going to have to deal with maybe a little bit heavier rains and a little bit more widespread rains out there. Once again, just partly cloudy skies out there for this morning. Looks like we're not going to see too much for today. Might see a couple isolated shower out of some of these cumulus clouds, but overall, it looks like a pretty good forecast as we go through the next few days, except you're just going to have to deal with the heat. We're going to be looking at those heat indices, looks like about 100 to 103. So very hot, very humid. Need to make sure you slow down and take care out in the heat. Let me check real quick. Once again, not seeing any messages coming through. So that's good, people. Hopefully then I explain the weather well and you won't have to worry about what's going on, or you have a good idea of what you can expect. Like I said, looks pretty wet as we head towards next week, all the way through Thursday, and wouldn't be surprised if we see a decent chance of rain on Friday as well. It's pretty much going to be a stalled front coming in next week, and along that stalled front we're going to be seeing some disturbances move by, and that will kick up those rain chances going into most of next week. Monday looks like that 40% is going to come afternoon, evening, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, those rain chances probably are going to be throughout the day. So all day long it looks like it's going to be pretty wet for Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday back to more scattered rain, as it's probably going to look to be maybe afternoon going in towards the evening. So like I said, you might be able to catch a break